Bonjour class, welcome to the online video lesson of Passe Compose using the auxiliary avoir. So it's Passe Compose avec avoir. So today we're going to be talking about things that you've done in the past. So we'll get it started. This is a helpful skill. All right. And so what is the Passe Compose? Well, the Passe Compose is the basic past tense conjugation. So this is basically explaining things you've done. It's an event that happened and it's over and it's not continuing because it's done. So that's basically it. These are the 3 points that I think you should take note of. Okay, and now we're going to talk about how to form the Passe Compose. So what you want to do is we have our 3 parts of the sentence. So we have the noun, the auxiliary, and the past participle. So the noun is typically going to be, the person, place, or thing, obviously. The auxiliary is where it gets more confusing. But in the case of Passe Compose, we're going to use avoir, the verb to have, or the word to have, in the present tense, conjugated in the present tense. And I'll show you how to do that later on in the presentation. And then we'll also have the past participle at the end, which is basically just the conjugated verb. So for example, if you wanted to say, I have eaten the pizza, you would use the words je avoir mangé la pizza, but before you say that and embarrass yourself, you have to conjugate it. So we have j'ai mangé la pizza. So you can see that the avoir has been conjugated into its present tense with the je. And then the manger, you see we dropped off the ER and replaced it with the E accent aigu. And then we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is just a basic table. A basic table of how to conjugate the verb avoir in the present tense. So we have j'ai, tu as, il, elle, on, a, nous avons, vous avez, and il, elle, ont. So these are the basic things that you'll say when you're trying to say something in the past. If you want, you can take a look at this later, take some notes, but this is going to be very important when you try to make sentences in the Passe Compose. All right, so now we have what are called the regular past participles, the standard endings. So when you want to say something in the Passe Compose, what you do is you take the verb, the last 2 letters of the verb, and you replace it. So in the example, there are 3 types of verbs in French. You have the ER verb, the IR verb, and the RE verb. So if you have a verb like trouver, which ends in an ER, you replace the ER, like earlier with manger, with the E accent aigu. And then if you had a word with an IR ending, like choisir, to choose, you would change the IR for an I. And then if you had a verb that ends with RE, like prendre, to take, you would say perdu. So there are irregular verbs, as always, in French, and you'll see them here with the past participles. Unfortunately, there's not really a pattern to this, so you're going to have to memorize these. I have an example of few. So these are the ones you'll see most commonly. You have avoir, devoir, pleuvoir, poivre, so far and so forth. So take a look at those and try your best to memorize them. Here's some example sentences you can take a look at. So if you wanted to say something like, I taught the students, j'ai enseigné aux élèves. If you wanted to say, you washed the dishes, tu as lavé le vaisselle, so that would be happening in the past. So she chose the movie, elle a choisi le film, and so on and so forth. You can see those for yourself. All right, and now it's your turn. So I want you to tell me 4 things that you did on the weekend or more using our classroom link for Flipgrid. So the link is in the PowerPoint presentation, which I will be putting on the Google Classroom page for you. You can go ahead and take a look at that. The link will be there, and it's also at the end of this presentation. So I encourage you to look at this presentation again, take some notes, sit with it and think for a while. And then I want you to come up with 4 sentences. And then after that, there's going to be a worksheet that you have to turn in before class. And we're going to go over that in class and talk about anything you were confused about and try to clear up any of the things that were unclear. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in class. Au revoir.